In Nigeria, we have two class of citizens. You have the first citizen, you have the second citizen. You are a first citizen if you are from the north. You're a second class citizen if you are from the south. Secondly, why you are also a first class citizen is you have to be practicing a certain religion. We can see yesterday how some Nigerian police enforcers, should I say local police enforcers, were arresting people because they were not fasting. They arrested those selling food, over 20 of them in Nigeria. I mean, this can only happen in Nigeria. In Nigeria, as a state now, has become a theocratic state, a state that is governed by religious tenets. Yes, because if you ask a question, why should you arrest them because of fasting? They will tell you, well, it's against the local laws. And that places Nigeria as a state that is governed by religion. The hypocrisy, the hypocrisy in the Nigerian system is where the challenge is. A country that is supposedly theocratic, that means we are operating based on God's instructions. How come this religious police are not arresting the politicians that are stealing our commonwealth? How come this police, this Hisbah, whatever their names are, how come they don't infiltrate the government departments, the government houses, to arrest and apprehend the likes of Yahya Bello, who allegedly stole billions of naira, the likes of Matawale, who allegedly stole billions of naira while he was Zamfara governor? You know, so it's a show of wanton hypocrisy, a show of deception, a show of religious manipulation. Because it doesn't make one atom of common sense. You are going out raiding people's businesses. If I am fasting, doesn't mean I cannot cook food. Are you telling me now that Nigeria as a state, there are some places that everybody there are 100% Muslims? I don't think there's any community you go to in Nigeria today, no matter how deserted that place is, that you will not find a Yoruba man, that you will not find an Igbo man doing their businesses or doing their craftsmanship. Do you want to talk about Sambisa? Do you want to talk about Briningwari? Go there, you find Igbo men doing their trading. You find Yoruba men doing their craft. And these people are from the south. You can state it out that in the southwest, you have almost equal numbers of Christians and Muslims. In the southeast, you have at least like 95% Christians, then maybe 3% Muslims or thereabout. When a local police, start invading communities, start picking people on the basis that they are not fasting, on the basis that why should you be selling food in fasting period? Imagine such conversations and arguments. A woman who has no other means of livelihood, she could also be a Muslim, but she has no means of livelihood. And with the understanding that in this community, I have Christians as well, who patronizes me. So are you saying that during the period of this fasting, I shouldn't make money? Should I go on hunger strike? Will the government fill the gap for that woman? If these things were in place, then maybe I would have supported this initiative of arresting people on the road, just picking them up like snails. You found someone on the street of Kano eating gala, you pick him up. You tell him, in this period, you're not supposed to be eating. You say that this is a time for fasting. Is it by force? Is it by force that I fast? Despite the fact that I am a non-Muslim? Even some Muslims might not want to fast because of some health issues. Some do not have the capacity to fast. Some have ulcer. Some have all manner of illness. So because that hunger holds them, they should go and hide in a corner and maybe drink water, eat gala, encouraging hypocrisy. You go to Dubai today, you see some people who are tourists, you see some people who are Christians, who are even citizens, who are Christians, eating and drinking in the mall. You won't find the Dubai police going there to pick them up. Mm-mm. How come in the whole of the world, the only thing that will always take us to a global stage is religion? We have never taken ourselves to the global stage in terms of technological inventions. It has always been on religious conversations. Like, this is, I mean, very, very shameful, disgraceful. It doesn't make any one item of common sense. Those guys were asked, why should you be arresting these guys? Like, it doesn't add up. I mean, are we supposed to make heaven by force? Because one of the pillars of Islam is you observing your Ramadan. In the 5 pillars, I think one of the critical pillars is you observing the Ramadan. But you are not supposed to be the judge of human, you are not supposed to be. I don't know why these guys are so prejudiced. Whereby all they have to do is, you are in a Muslim community, they found you eating, are you a Christian or a Muslim? Those are the questions. If you're a Muslim, why are you not fasting? You decide to tell them, well, I have some health issues. The worst thing they can tell you is, or the best advice they can tell you, okay, you know what? Stop eating in the public. Go into a closure. Eat your food. But you arresting them, I am sure when they get arrested, when they get to the place of where they are going to be probably prosecuted, they might be beaten, because these are the rules. They might be beaten. They might be asked to pay fines. You can this is just unimaginable. In a 21st century, a country is still acting like we're in the 6th century. We are now the custodian of Islam. I am sure that in these 20 people that were caught, I am sure some of them Muslims. Just invade a community. You see them eating, and then you just pick them up. Who does that in this era and time? Is this how a country is built? You must have a country. Should we start having one religion supreme over another? This is a clear indication that Nigeria is an Islamic state. This is a clear indication that Nigeria is now a fully blown Islamic state. Yes. Yesterday in some schools, Abu Zaria, Ahmadu Bello University, they have adjusted their time. That from Monday to Thursday, they resume by 9, close by 2. On Friday, they resume by 9, they close by 1. Because we are in that very special season. This is a school that is a federal university school. This is not a school that is private owned. This is not a school that was built by zakat. When I mean zakat, contributions from Muslims, no. This was a school that was built by the Nigerian resources. Monies that were made from the southwest, south, southeast, were all gathered with monies made from the north to build ABU. But we can see under a guise, they are saying that ABU must moderate its operations because people are fasting. Are you telling me in ABU there are no Christians? Are you telling me in ABU there are non-believers? If all through the year your school's hour runs from 8 to, let's say, 6, but for a certain time you say you want to cut out 5 hours from 8 to 1, from 8 to 2, it only shows what we call religious supremacy. It shows what we call religious intimidation. You are encouraging division right from the educational institutions. Yes, this is what it means. That from the primary to secondary to tertiary level, let it be clear to the people that a particular religion has to be revered, wherein the school normal operations has to be altered. It has to be adjusted. Now, what does that tell you? It simply shows you that, so this means that some people are of higher status. That means some people are recognized by the nation before some others. Yes. The Christians have started their Lent. You will not see Christian schools, states, or even you would not see any. Just imagine a school like Federal University of Technology Akure or Federal University of Technology Owerri, Futo and Futa. Imagine in Lent, they now say Lent is for 40 days. Okay, because of that, we are going to start, we resume by 8, we close by 12. It's going to bring division. And how they do not know that this is divisive is what amazes me. But I think they know. They're just, it is just about supremacy, jingoism. They are just, putting it in our face that there's absolutely nothing you can do. That it is now apparent that Nigeria, which is a member of IOC, Islamic Organization countries, or Organization of Islamic countries, then they are putting in our face that in the constitution, the Sharia is duly recognized. 2, thirdly, the Norths are the custodians of the Nigerian faith. Yes. Go and check the Nigerian army. What you find there is Arabic. What you find there is the Aramaic. They wrote it on the Nigerian emblem. The Nigerian army emblem, they wrote it in Aramaic. These are things that they've put in place to signal. These are instructive signals that, well, make una get it into your skull. If for anything, Nigeria will never be a secular state. If for anything, yes, the Christians can exist in Nigeria, but they will never have the say. It has to always be the opposite. Because in your Nigerian army, you have Arabic. In the Nigeria today, the civil service commissions, universities are restructuring because they have to respect the Ramadan time. Thirdly, people are getting arrested. Muslims and non-Muslims are getting arrested for eating during Ramadan. So you can see this is an instructive signal that if you are moving anyhow as a non-Muslim, you gotta be careful, because we will put you in the right position that you are, which is you are a second-class citizen. So it is clear, like night and day. When the likes of Simon Ekpa, when the likes of Igboho, when the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, when Ojukwu in the 60s came out demanding for a complete secession away from the country called Nigeria, these were the things that were happening. There was something we called ethnic supremacy, religious supremacy, wherein some particular people just wanted to be at top, above. It doesn't matter if they were deserving of that position, but they just wanted to be there. They jettisoned what is called meritocracy. When you are my brother, we speak the same tongue, let me favor you. Favoritism became the order of the day. Hypocrisy became the norm and values of the Nigerian ecosystem. And this is why you see that some people will just go and convert to a religion so that they can be favored in Nigerian army. This is why you see that some people who rapidly got promoted in the Nigerian army, in the Nigerian police, the Nigerian customs, converted and then they learned the Hausa language. Yes, if you go find out, you will see that the language that is widely spoken in the Nigerian army corridors is the Hausa language. But on paper, we have it there that the Nigerian official language is what? English. So when you are in your official duty, you put on your Nigerian army, you are even on the war front, you guys should be communicating in English, but you see videos where people are communicating in Hausa. And then you ask yourself, if I find myself here as a Yoruba man, I find myself here as an Igbo man, and he wants to tell me enemy behind is speaking it in Hausa and I do not hear, I think that's a problem for me. Must I have to learn it? Learning it is an added advantage, but it shouldn't now become a prerequisite, because as it is now, it is more or less like a prerequisite for you to speak a language, for you to belong to a particular religion. If you want to have your way to be smooth and easy, you need to like adopt this religion. Nigeria will never work if we continue like this. If a country cannot separate religion from its state functions, educational functions, school is meant to be a democratic place. The highest level of schooling in Nigeria is the university, right? When our universities start reflecting our religious bigotry against one another, what are we expected to produce in the future? We're expected to produce religious bigots. We are expected to produce northerners who will feel, well, I am. While we're in school, you guys couldn't dare speak now. Well, whenever we're in a Ramadan time, you guys will have to obey. And you also join us. Because by 1 o'clock, nobody will teach again. So you can see, it's shameful, it's questionable. It doesn't add up, doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be. Nigeria cannot be saying it is a nation and in fact, Nigeria is operating like a failed state. Nigeria is just working that process a nation takes when it is about to self-destruct. And I think Nigeria wants to self-destruct. It's just a couple of days or a couple of months. It doesn't make sense. Abu Zaria, ABU, a federal university, not even a state, they are now implementing Sharia. A state that a lot of Southern Kaduna people are, and this is why the Southern Kaduna people have always been shouting about marginalization. That the Abu Zaria, which is located in Northern Kaduna, has been marginalizing them, giving admissions to only Northern Kaduna people, because by the name they know. When the Southern Kaduna people are bearing Christopher, bearing Moses, the Northern Kaduna people are bearing Musa, Salisu, so they would rather appoint those ones first. This is just a show of what we call religious bigotry. It's a shame entirely. Thank you, bye for now.